Do you think that Sharia law is barbaric and the punishments of Sharia like stoning and head chopping does not make sense in the 21st century? And do these dumb journalists add to your confusion?
There was a time when Afghanistan was a modern state. Faith was a private matter, burqas were optional, women and men could travel together. Right next door, Iran was not far behind. It was at par with the Western world. Women could step out without a veil, even meet men at public places. But the Iran and Afghanistan of today are a lot different. Today, hijab is mandatory, Western clothing is frowned upon, clerics dictate societal norms, religious police patrols the streets, civil rights are all but non-existent. What happened in these countries? They came under the Sharia law.
I'm going to clear that misconception in this video. Let me introduce you to two terms that are commonly used while discussing Sharia law. First one is had, which means to punish. These are the punishments prescribed in Quran and Sunnah and cannot be changed. And second one is tazir. These are the punishments which are at the discretion of judge and can be prescribed by the courts. In this video, I will be talking about hudud punishments only, as these are considered barbaric. The two hudud punishments mentioned in the Quran is first that man and woman who commit adultery should be lashed 100 times. But if man and woman are married and they commit adultery, they should be stoned to death. And second punishment is for theft. Man and woman who steal something above certain value should have their hands cut off. Well, you might argue that aren't these laws barbaric? But this is where this gets interesting. Very few people know that the central principle in the applications of hudud punishments is to maximize mercy. This was clearly stated in the hadith of the Prophet that ward off the punishments from the Muslims as much as you can. If you find a way out for them, let them go. For it's better to err in mercy than to err in punishment. Within a year of Prophet is that the Muslim scholars had digested this hadith into the crucial legal principle, ward off the punishment by ambiguity called shubuhat. In one of the greatest empires, Ottoman empires, when the prostitutes and clients were caught, they were not tried for hudud punishments. Due to the ambiguity that prostitution was similar to marriage, both were exchanges of sexual access to money in case of marriage dowry payment. This is not because Muslim scholars had any sympathy for prostitution. Rather, they wanted to hunt for any possible ambiguity to avoid hudud punishments. Even if thief was caught red-handed with the usual number of witnesses to the act, all the thief had to do is to claim that the item he stole was his, and enough ambiguity would be established to put hand chopping out of the question. As stated by famous scholar Rudolf Peters in his book Crime and Punishment in Islamic Law, that it is almost impossible for a fornicator or a thief to get sentenced unless he wishes to do so and confesses. Now, just because ambiguity was found to avoid hudud punishment does not mean that alleged wrongdoer is now free. Now he will be punished according to Tazi. The hudud punishments are carried out in Saudi Arabia at higher rate than in any other Muslim society. And if you check 1 year data, out of 7,000 crimes for theft, only one hand was cut off. And out of 700 of sexual related crimes, no one was stoned. And if you check even history of 500 history of Ottoman Empire, you will only find 1 or 2 instances of stoning for adultery. Compare this with colonial America, where 40 people were executed for various sexual crimes. And don't confuse Sharia with just punishments. Sharia is a broader term that encompasses every sphere of human activity, like worshipping, purity rituals needed to perform it, charity, pilgrimage, hunting, slaughter of animals, marriage, divorce, inheritance, contracts, property, and liability. Isn't this interesting? But it is always the Western media that paints this ugly picture of Islam, when in reality it is the most logical religion. If you like our content, do subscribe. Thank you.